if you respect what I bring to the table, I also respect what you are bringing to my table. Then we have mutual respect. I don't care how close we are. I don't care about the DNA we share. If you are going to take away the peace that I fought so hard for, I'd rather not.
King David Studio podcast.
Today in my world, she's a legend. She doesn't think she is. We met under very weird conditions, but she always. You
are not going to.
I'm not going to tell that story. Don't worry. We'll leave it to them to conclude. Our meeting cost me 5,000 rands for the record.
Wow, David.
Hey man, I have to put it out there.
No, you know how much that 5,000 rand has cost me years later.
Joe, more. No.
It has cost me 30,000 years later.
Oh no! So my contribution was nothing.
No. It was meaningful at the time.
Yeah.
But now that 5,000 cost me
a lot more.
An additional 25,000
with good results.
Absolutely. I mean.
I like that. This is an inside joke. It's so unfair because it's an inside joke. Shouldn't we just tell?
No, we are not going to tell, David.
Not at all.
No.
Wow.
My lips are sealed. And I would hope that yours are.
And interesting, the truth is so close to your lips, but we'll leave it there.
David, I'm walking out of here. I promise.
Don't worry, I'm not going there.
Okay.
Jeez, this is as dirty as this podcast gets, by the way. This is as dirty as it gets.
This is I think it's a very civil kind of dirt, which I can deal with.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you know isithakazelo sakho?
Ngizazi njengoba ngizazi.
Really?
Yes.
Give it to us, please.
It's umuntu ngambilazo wadla umuntu wamyanga indaba ubheje sengoma.
Wow. Now I feel like I don't know mine really well.
No, I was raised by my grandmother.
Yeah.
When I was in KZN. And so my grandmother, Magapatla, I would always be next to her.
Ah.
Yeah. And I don't know why. It's only now that I understand good. Actually, it worked for me. I was being taught, Ogoti, when you call your people, this is how you call them. And ebaso aboban.
Yeah.
So I have the Telezis there.
What?
I have them Shongos there. I have them Shangas there. And I have the Khumalos there. So it's
a whole thing.
Yeah.
And because your spirituality you're so conscious of it. It's not something that is divorced from your existence.
No. I'm very intentional about my spirituality.
Yeah.
And hence I had to know all the Zulu rings and whatnot so that I know how to speak to who and when. Yeah.
Is it something that you've always felt or you ignored or you just realized it at a certain point in your life?
Well, I felt things for a very long time and I would see things and they would happen and it would be like a deja vu and I'm like, oh, it's just a coincidence. But it was when I think my cousin passed away and I had dreamed of it.
Yo.
And I woke up and told my mother and I said, my cousin is going. And my mother's like, okay, ukhuluma ngani? And I was like, yeah, I saw it in my dream. He was sick.
Yeah.
But now it was revealed to me prior that this is what's going to happen. And when I told my mother, and then a week or two later, it actually happened. That's when I started noticing, this is no longer deja vu. It's also about the things I say. If I say something, it happens. So I watch what I say. And recently I've become very aware of what comes out of my mouth because I know it comes to life. And I remember my manager at the time, Sarah, you remember Sarah?
Yes.
Sarah used to say to me, watch what you say because in fact, when you are angry, say nothing.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what happens with healers when you've been given the power to heal. So the minute you speak things, they come to life because you were destined to heal. You are destined to bring life into anything. So whether good or bad,
You bring
life to it. So I watch what I say. And I don't just speak.
has it been a burden of yours, this thing? Because it wouldn't be easy to carry it around.
I think it's only a burden when you don't understand it and you don't know how to use it. But once you get to understand it, it's actually the greatest gift of all.
Yeah.
Because you speak things, they come to life.
Hey,
Yeah.
please speak something to me. Speak something nice.
No, but I mean, this is what David is going to say something.
Hey, I'm going through the most, as young people say.
I don't think you are. You are blessed.
Well, let's do this correctly. I'm hanging out with Kelly Khumalo. She doesn't consider herself a legend. She thinks she's like us. And she doesn't realize what we think of her. You know, there's an episode in one of your things, season 2, you were with young people and you're greeting regular people.
Yeah.
The camera catches one of the people
Yeah.
who whose hand you're about to shake.
Yeah.
And the anticipation in that person's
Face.
it was amazing.
I don't think I will ever maybe not understand, except people faffing over me. Because I just don't think it's necessary.
Why? Is it just a natural humility that you have?
It's not a natural humility. I just don't know how to deal with people who are faffing over me. I'd rather have you come and lose your mind after I left.
Not while you're here.
Not while I'm here. I get easily annoyed because I'm like, what? Don't.
Yeah.
Even yelling my name in public, you are going to set me off. I remember recently I was busy shopping and the lady was yelling in the supermarket. I went straight to her. And I know it was probably not nice of me to say, but I said, Umdal, come down. If you want to say something to me, come over, greet me decently and let me go on about my business. The last thing I need is attention. I don't like attention.
But you still when you receive it well, you embrace it, obviously.
There's a kind of faffing or attention that is respectful. And it's very much welcomed where someone comes and says, how are you? I'm such a fan. Can I shake your hand? Can I get a picture?
Yeah.
It's between me and you. It's not you causing a hoo-ha that I don't need. Dare yell my name, I'm going to come for you.
Oh, no. Well, there it is. Get a warning.
Don't. Just come to me, greet me nicely. Let's have a conversation like decent grown-ups and let's go on about our business.
You speak of your grandma as someone whom you grew up with or raised you for until what age?
So my grandmother has been around for as long as I can remember.
Mother's mom?
My mother's mom. And then when during the riots, the NCIFP, saga.
Is it 80s? Yes.
80s to
90s. Yes. Early 90s.
Yeah.
Yes. Nkatha Freedom.
Yes. And actually 90 to 1991.
That's it.
To be precise. So I had to be moved to KZN. That's when I spent more time with my grandmother. And it was meant to be a temporary thing, which ended up being permanent because I was there for like 5 to 6 years. Yeah.
Jeez, that's quite a long time. And you must have built a close bond with her because you were...
I did. And I'm grateful for it because I don't think had I remained here with my mother, I wouldn't have known the fundamental things about my family that I know now if it wasn't for that time. So I look back and I'm like, actually, this was a blessing in disguise. Yeah.
And because it stands out quite a bit. Your grandma's role in your life stands out even now. I realize.
Listen, my grandmother is that ancestor that I go, grandma, catch.
So she's still around.
No, very much around all the time. I mean, I can't even explain to you.
Wow.
This woman is around me all the time without fail. And it's even worse when I'm going through hardships. I can literally even smell her.
Jeez.
I remember what she used to smell like.
Yeah.
So I'm like, smells like my grandmother. Then I know she's around. And I know that stuff is about to turn upside down because ube no laka.
Yeah.
So anything that touches her children, she comes out.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How many kids did she have?
So she was in a polygamous marriage. So Mkhulwami had 2 wives.
Yeah.
And 10 kids. 5 with the first wife, 5 with the second wife.
Just being fair.
Yeah. So my grandmother had 5 children. Yeah.
And are they still around? Are they close?
No, my mother's the only one left.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez, man. She's relatively young looking, your mom.
And she's not that young. I mean, look at me. I'm a mother. I am almost 40. So my mother can't be that young.
No, of course not. Because she's so young looking every time I see her.
I think it's good genes.
Yeah.
I think it's good genes.
Hey, the story of your mom and your grandma seems like it was a tricky one, their relationship.
How do you say that? Why do you say that?
I say that because, unless if it wasn't her, it was the people around her.
Yeah.
Because of the not being invited, in inverted commas. I use the word invite because you don't get invited to a funeral, but denied access.
It's not so much of their relationship.
Yeah.
I think it's the people related to us.
Ah.
Yeah, because I mean, when she started getting sick, she was staying with us. So there is no way that there was a strained relationship between the two, but it was just really out of spite, I would say.
You know, watching your TV show reveals a lot about a lot of families. You say almost all families have problems, and there's a comment that you say often, you're probably not aware. That, geez, but these ones don't end.
No, they never end.
They carry on forever.
They never end. And it gets to a point where, as an individual, you have to decide whether you want to put up with this toxicity or you want to distance yourself from it. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, your peace is everything.
That's true.
So I'm at the point where my peace is literally everything. I don't care how close we are. I don't care about the DNA we share. If you are going to take away the peace that I've fought so hard for, I'd rather not.
Were you not as peaceful at some point and aware of your lack of peace?
I think peace comes with growth and also self-actualization, self-acceptance. And I think for the longest time, I thought I was there, but I wasn't completely there. Yeah.
I ask this because not all of us get to that point where the noise tends to be addictive. You want to keep it going.
You funa le drama.
Yes.
But also, the noise is not necessarily out there. It's reflected by the noise that's in here. So you attract what you are. So if there's a noise in here, obviously you will attract noise. But once there's peace within, you will attract peace.
There's peace around you as well.
Yes. So I would say that it was an internal noise that I had overlooked for years because I kept thinking maybe the noise is coming from the outside, not realizing that I am the magnet of the noise.
We are the magnets of everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for you to be so clear and conscious of that is pretty cool, I guess. Where did you find this knowledge? And I ask it very innocently.
You know, it's the same question that the lady I had an interview with asked me. I think it's spending time with yourself.
Yeah.
Learning to love yourself and learning to accept even the darkest parts of who you are that brings about peace and growth and so much knowledge to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say this because, you know, we live a full life not knowing some of these life hacks, as they're called.
And
they're
a whole lot of them, eh?
Exactly. It's a life trick.
Yeah.
And you find that you can know it, but not be able to practice it.
Yeah.
And you don't practice it often enough.
Yeah.
And your life is a challenge. You don't know why.
Yeah.
And some people, why are they doing better than me?
Yes. I went through all those stages, David.
Yeah.
I went, and at some point I was very mad because it gets to a point where you know you're amazing. But bayakudlula.
Yo.
First stop, you are standing in one place and you start thinking, man, I can do better than that. But why am I still in one place? Not understanding that it's not them, it's you.
Jeez. And this is all of us.
Yeah, it happens to all of us.
When you say it's not them, it's you, let's help us grasp it so at least we walk out of this with that knowledge.
You have to align with who you are spiritually, your higher self. Why are you here? Why you were created to be here. Once you align with that and do exactly what you were created to be, there is no overtaking that will happen in your life.
Everything just works out.
It becomes a collateral thing. Even the things that you had literally forgotten about, you fought for so many years, you can only get them when you align with your higher self. So literally everything that belongs to you is in a storage somewhere, waiting for you to align. And once you align, that's when the offloading begins.
Let's simplify it. Where do I start? I want to align. and allow
David,
us.
Expert.
No, you know why? You're not an expert. You and I clearly have read the same books, have had the same conversations with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But one thing that I like about people like yourselves is that you're such a clear demonstration of this alignment.
Yes.
And I think life requires those like yourselves who are able to show it. You know, when someone is a great cook and he's like, I wish you would show me.
You can't.
No, but help me and let me carry on with this logic. I know I hang out with a lot of musicians. It's the luck that I have. And every time I have a pianist, I always want him to play something. That's the weirdest thing. Every time there's a guitarist, you want them to play something.
Yeah.
It's the same thing here. Where I'm saying to you, you help us to see it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who look at your life and say, Chira se
But bigger now.
You know what I mean? That's why it's so important for me to say, with as much ability as you can give us here, help us align.
So the aligning is aligning with your higher self. And it's when you begin to refrain from listening to the noises and refrain from listening to people who want to tell you who you should be, who you are supposed to be, and look within. So there's this thing that always tells you in there. You know that fire that's always burning that says, I want radio, I want radio, I want radio. The aligning is right there. So there is that voice inside of each and every individuals that always reminds you of who you are. And once you align with that voice and listen to it, it will take you where you are supposed to be, because the journey is already paved. Because when God created you, He also created your journey. So if you plug into that person, the journey is as clear. Aguna overtaking, aguna traffic, aguna anything. It is just you and your calling.
On that journey.
Yes.
Nobody else.
Nobody else.
And you're not likely to find people on
Hence, you were saying to me earlier, you would ask a guitarist to play. But if you were to play, you can't. It is only for them. It was given to them. They were specially designed for it. So everything in who they are complements that.
I sit here and I say to everyone who's struggling with the alignment, every time you see this thing on TV, immediately you say that's the thing. Every time you see it in a magazine, you say that's the thing. That very thing that you're supposed to be doing. And you will see a lot of it around you.
That's a beauty. God has a way of dropping things to give you clues. You see something and you can feel your heart is burning and the passion is undeniable. That's who you are.
And He never stops reminding.
No, He never stops. But Tina, we never listen.
Is it because almost all of us are fixated, and I put myself in there.
Yeah.
With the world that people like yourselves live in so easily.
Yeah.
The world of billboards and TVs and all of that.
How do you know if it's easily?
Well, I say this because you make it look easy.
Let me tell you why it looks easy.
Yeah.
I'm aligned. I'm doing what I was created to do. Hence, to you, as a person who's looking at it, feels like, it's not.
Yeah.
It only looks easy because I'm doing what I was specially designed for.
Do you know, interesting, another Tungwa made soccer look easy at some point.
Yes.
And made all of us think we could play. All of us thought, exactly.
No.
So I guess it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, but also it all looks easy to someone who's looking at it.
Yeah.
But it's not. I look at you when you do radio, I'm like, wow, David.
It is easy.
Very easy. No?
It is easy.
Put me behind that microphone. It is not.
No, it's not.
Far from it.
And you know what? I agree with you. It doesn't get easy.
No, it never does.
Yeah. And you can do it 100 times. Every moment still feels like
Feels
it's the
new.
first time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and I have had many conversations before, but this one feels like the first time.
Really?
It always feels that way for me.
I think the reason behind that is that both of us are very hungry for information.
Yeah.
We want to unpack certain things. We want to understand certain things. And by the time we come out of here, we are different people. I'm like, David said something very intriguing.
Yeah.
You know, I learned something, you know? And also we are able to engage each other on a different level.
That's true.
It's not like I get into an interview, I get asked the same questions over and over. I'm like, Jesus, I'm going to throw up. If someone asks me that again, I'm literally going to walk out of here.
You introduced Radio 2000 listeners to Asha's Bibanke. You probably
Yes. Aye Adaba.
Aye Adaba.
Ah, yes.
We
Yes.
still play it even now. And
Really?
The reason I raised this point, interesting, I mentioned it on Monday. When I played it, it's like, hey, this song.
Kelly's
There's someone
song.
you know what I mean? And the reason I say this because you're saying we leave each other with something.
Yes, there's
lasting
always something. Yes.
Lasting impression.
I love Asha. Even today, like I'm a fan.
We appreciate it. I want to talk about the dynamics of your relationship with your mom. How do you interpret it from someone who lives in it all the time?
Sure, no one has asked me that question. I think it has been a push and pull. Up until now, where it's like we lived in two different worlds up until we learned to reconcile the two worlds and become one. She's from a different era.
Okay.
I'm from a different era. On top of that, it's like, try and imagine what Jesus' mother felt like. You give birth to something that you have no idea what it is. You look at it and you're like, yini manchele. And you try to maybe tame it. You can't.
Jeez.
So that's the relation. And it's not because there's no love. She has her own way of how she was raised. But I'm the type, I'm a rare breed. You can't tell me how to live my life because I already know who I am. So how do you then try and motivate something that already knows what it is
and what it's doing?
Yeah, exactly.
When you say two different worlds, do you mind spending a minute and describe her world for us?
Her world has limitations. You can ungahambuzo figela. My world, limitations don't exist.
Yeah.
There's no it's over in my world. It's never over. Like I can find them in the house losing their minds because something happened and I'm so calm and I'm like, why are you guys losing your minds?
Yeah.
Because uba no feel. Why are you losing your minds? Calm down. Let's pray about it.
Does it hinder? You say it. You know when somebody's trying to direct a horse that already knows where it's running to, and batichiga, and it keeps coming back to this lane.
No, I mean, I'm not going to even. I will kick you out.
Do you find that it creates tension. It should, I imagine.
It used to. It used to back when I was a teenager because nobody understood me. Nami, I didn't understand me because I'm like, I have this personality and I don't know how to deal with it.
What was that personality?
Personality, if my energy doesn't gel with you, I'll sit here and not say anything.
What? But you had kosh.
Nihleke ngithi,
Yo. You were like that.
for the longest time.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out this person who I've had the spirit of discernment from the longest time, but I did not know what it was until now. So I was that weird child.
Did it affect the relations with other people immediately?
It did. If you don't leave me alone, I'm going to punch you.
Cho. You were like that.
No, I was like that for the longest time.
You must have been regarded as a rebellious child.
Yes, absolutely. The black sheep of the family.
Jeez. How big is this family?
I don't know. What defines family again, David?
They mediate the genetic lineage that's within the people who you know, malume, ubani.
Because as you grow, the definition behind family changes.
It does.
It's not based on the DNA and all of that.
Bloodline.
It's bloodline and whatnot. It becomes the people that God has placed in your life who will run with you, whether good or bad. Those people, you consider them as family. So that's what I needed to understand. What type of family are we talking about?
Let's talk about
here?
genetic family.
Genetic family, like I said earlier, my grandfather had 2 wives.
Yeah.
So it's a big family.
Yeah.
You know? And I still have cousins. Abaningi.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's endless.
Yeah.
So it's a big family, but yet small family because I keep to myself.
You do. Is it a conscious decision or is it just the way you were designed?
I think it's the way I was designed, which I questioned for a very long time. Ningahlala endlini, mina, I want to be in my room. I'm still like that.
That hasn't changed.
No, it hasn't. And not because I'm unhappy or I'm depressed or anything. I just love spending time with myself.
So you like this lady?
I like, what?
Okay. Let me rephrase. So you love this lady?
I'm smitten by this lady.
What do you like the most about her?
Everything about her.
Give me
Let me tell you, her character
Yeah.
for me. She's very kind, very strong-willed, very respectful, and calls a spade, very truthful. I will tell you exactly what I see and how I feel. I never hold anything back, and very determined.
Jeez, what's not to like?
Nothing.
What's not to love? Let's use the right word.
There's nothing not to love about me.
Oh. Do you find that people don't quite understand you even now?
I don't wish to be understood by people. I'm not for everyone to consume.
Yeah.
And I'm okay if you don't get me. I take no offense in you not understanding.
Even with the burden of wanting mass appeal as a musician.
No.
It doesn't matter.
For me, that's the thing, Gotim. When God creates you and gives you the gift, He also gives you the audience.
It's that part.
So you don't have to try and woo people into your world. Oh, look at me, I'm likable. Look at me, I'm trending. Look at me, I'm that. No, you already have an audience that is assigned for you. So I don't have to be anything I'm not.
That's why Kaizer Chiefs are my fan hub and the Sundowns.
No, babaluza, bawina, gyafana, bahleli. It's the same thing. So there's an audience for every gift.
That's it.
Yeah.
Did it take you long to eventually get to this realization of the person that you are? And time is neither here nor there. Or is it still an ongoing thing?
I don't think I'll ever get to a point where there's no destination. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person I was the last time we had a conversation. And I won't be the same person the next time we have a conversation.
Sure.
So it's a work in progress. Yeah.
And because the knowledge of yourself determines the way you deal with things. There's a politician who is always regarded as he changes his mind often. And poor guy probably thinks, I just have new information now. That's why I say
think
this.
for me, it's not so much of changing. It's like an onion.
Yeah.
Every time you peel the old skin, the new skin comes out. So it's still an onion. There's a difference between growth and changing your mind, as far as I'm concerned.
What is at the core of... It's a trick question because I don't know how I would answer it.
So why are you asking me?
No, because like you're smarter than me, so you'll be
No way.
you'll be okay. Well, what is at the core of your character? Like what you know for sure. This is who you are. And some of this you've already answered, but you spoke of integrity and so forth, and the things you love about yourself. But when you sum yourself up in a few words,
Standing for the truth.
yeah,
I stand for the truth, no matter how ugly
get into politics, please. We need you.
No. Yo, abanye bathi get into church, abanye bathi politics, guys.
We need the truth.
If there's one thing that maybe I want to say thank you to God for,
Yeah.
is that level of honesty that he put in my heart, he placed in my heart. Whenever I maybe find myself not sure, or maybe, playing with something that it's not literally true, I can't sleep.
Ooh.
I can't eat. I can't do anything. I can't function because I'm like, that is not what I stand for. That's not who I am. It's literally in my DNA.
Yeah.
I remember at some point I had an incident and my lawyer was like, did you have to be that truthful? I'm like, but I just told the truth. The Bible says the truth shall set you free.
It's true.
But really?
Not now. Maybe not now. He's a lawyer.
No, but we understand.
He's not telling you to lie. He's saying, don't say it now.
I know, but me being me, it's right there. I've said it. And if somehow I'm going to be crucified for it, then so be it.
Yeah. Do you find that, and talking about crucifixion, do you find that your truth gets you in trouble a lot because all life is about relations. We exist in relation too.
No. I don't know whether it gets me in trouble, but what I've learned recently is that people have been waiting to hear the truth.
Wow. And your truth.
Maybe my truth, I don't know, but people are thirsty for the truth out there. And every time I would post one of my videos, just literally speaking my mind, you'll find that a lot of people can relate with that truth. And they were like, finally, someone gets to say it.
Yeah. And because we exist in a world of such misinformation, of the world we portray is always,
very distorted.
Absolutely. And above all, it's we always we see your final movie and we compare our production, our rehearsal,
with the final production, exactly.
And that tends to skew our view of everything. But yet we want to operate like that forever and ever and ever.
And it can't. And it's even worse now with social media.
Yeah,
you see things that look very glittery on social media. Kanti, it's a different story altogether behind closed doors. And now you find yourself depressed because you are trying to match up to the unrealistic
final production.
Someone that has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Surely we're heading in the worst possible reality when it comes to this subject of social media. Where we're heading is not a good place. We've seen people die.
If it was up to me, we would literally just, do away.
Stop.
Literally stop.
Yeah.
Because we detach from the core of who we are and what we are meant to be, and then we focus on these unrealistic things that are being put out there on social media, and we start comparing ourselves and wanting to live up to those expectations that are unrealistic.
do you plan to expose your kids to it?
Well, I can't hide them from it. My duty is to teach them to be anchored in who they are. Or no matter the circumstances are surrounding them, they will always know who they are.
Because it's such a dangerous space.
Oh, you telling me? It's demonic, if you ask me.
Yeah. It's the worst curse of our time.
It's very demonic. I mean, people don't appreciate their looks. They don't appreciate where they are in life. They don't appreciate anything. We are no longer living in the now and embracing the now. It's all about, what did Rihanna post? I need to see that. I need to match up to that. That's her reality. What is your reality?
Let's go back to the truth, because I want to connect two concepts: the truth and your path.
Yeah.
The path that has no traffic.
Yeah.
The path that once you choose it and once you realize it, you will get there.
Yeah.
You realize that more and more people will struggle to find it when we bring social media into the picture, because we spend more time wanting to be like Kelly.
Well, I'm glad at least there's a Kelly out there who will always shine the light on the truth, who's not afraid to say, this is who I am, and take it or live it. So I'm hoping that on its own will inspire the young or whoever the old to say, I like what she's doing. She's content with who she is. Why can't I do the same? Yeah.
Because, the path will then get lost. And I always use this dumb example. I say there's a guy who's meant to solve the problem of AIDS with one pill. Right now, which is Conin.
But how do you even know that there is...
I'm just
saying. You know what, David? I am not going to indulge in this conversation because...
Why not?
The thing is, there's the truth and there's what you are made to believe.
Yeah. Which is another thing altogether.
Who said there wasn't a cure?
Right now.
Asazangit?
No, we
but it's jeliwe kwathiwa ayikho cure.
Yeah.
Because if ayikho cure, it means we keep coming back for treatment. Once you give us the cure, there's no need for treatment.
No. I get you. And maybe I chose the wrong example. Be that as it may. Be that as it may. There's a guy who's meant to solve a problem.
Yeah.
But because he's not embracing his path, that problem will never be solved.
Well, the beauty about God is that once you delay, someone else is being prepared for the same journey.
So you know that. Kuti, when there's a knock at the door, you're taking too long to open.
Into Gutau. Hi, we are still here. It is over to David.
Yeah, next door.
See you to David. Must figure David to Kutu. Nifunani. We run with David. Umtola already, and then we run with David.
Have you had or seen that situation, or have you experienced it when you just didn't wake up early enough?
I think I have. When I had an idea and I see it on TV, I'm like, you know, when you're alone, and also you can't tell anyone because it was just an idea in your head.
Yeah.
And you didn't communicate it with anyone, but you just thought, when the time is right, I'll probably do it. Bah, there it is on TV.
Because you're not the only one given that idea.
You are not the only one. So who wins is determined by who wakes up earlier enough to go and get that.
Or who is ready when the knock happens.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Who reacts faster.
True.
Yeah. It's all about quick reflexes.
You realize how important this is because you meet just about everyone, they'll tell you they have an idea.
Yeah, but let me tell you, even the Bible says when Jesus was going to heaven, he said, I'm not leaving you alone. I'm leaving you with the Holy Spirit that will give you treasures, which are ideas. So we make money out of an idea. The world is what it is now based on ideas. So if that idea pops in your head and you don't jump, someone else will.
And
you've lost your treasure.
And you'll say, and leave it at that. Or go to Sunday World.
And claim what?
It's my idea.
No, but bese ngqondweni yakho uyi-1.
Ngimthumele email. Ngimthumele Kelly email. Do you know, for me, what the story of your life, I find it intriguing from a lot of ways. Because you're spiritually very strong and grounded.
Yeah.
You're religiously very strong and grounded. And I use these words deliberately separate because there's some who say you can't do this and do that. And there's some who say, how do they come together? And there's some who say, okay, muti, but muti is a part of our lives as humans, particularly as Africans. Let me hear. Please indulge me. We are here.
Okay, muti.
Joe, yes, you know where I got it. Don't put me on the spot.
Oh, okay. How do I explain this to you? In my journey of spirituality, I was always very conflicted because I grew up in a household that is very spiritual in terms of Christianity. But also we did not overlook the fact that sinamadlozi okungawagidi. So I always felt like I needed to choose. Ukuthi, is it God or is it? But I realized, good, actually, how dare I undermine God like that? Because he's the greatest power of all. And I want to compare him with people that he created, people who have lived before, people who don't have the same power as him. So, in conclusion, I've realized, Guti, I worship God. I acknowledge my ancestors as guardian angels. I speak to them. I pray to God.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Which is a clear African way of doing things anyway. We've been like that.
David, you'd be very surprised of what's been happening around here.
Yeah.
There's people who have resulted into praying to ancestors.
Wow.
That's where the issue is.
And they stop there.
And it's like, mina ngikhonza idlozi. And I'm like, but this is a person who lived like you. Yeah. There is nothing superficial about them. The only difference is that they've crossed over to the other side.
Yeah.
But they still answer to God.
What, and I use the word powers deliberately because my vocabulary is too small to understand what word to use.
Yeah.
What powers do they have, amadlozi, in that context?
They do. They're like angels.
Yeah.
According to my understanding, I could be wrong, but I'm saying this based on my experiences, is that they are like angels. People who are always there to say, hey, move. Because they are angels of war, angels of kindness, angels of health, angels of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the list is endless. So they go and plug into that. If you are good for war, you will represent war. If you are angel of kindness, you'll be that. Angel of healing, you'll be that. But you are not God.
No.
So it means you still get instructions from the higher power.
What kind of ancestor do you think you're going to be?
War.
Why do you say that? We have so much peace now.
No, but war.
It without even thinking.
War doesn't mean silwa in a wrong way.
Hi, Vladimir.
No. There's a healthy kind of war.
Okay.
The war that you have to put up to protect your loved ones.
Wow.
That's the kind of war I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about how Meles is vung out of nowhere. No.
Because you're a calculating type of person.
Yes, very calculative.
Yeah.
No, I don't just react. So every move of mine is calculated.
Yeah.
By the time I react, you must know, Guti, Mangiti, it's war. I've already convinced myself ngati la siyangena. Yeah.
You speak of war and immediately you speak of family and protection. You're saying against all odds, the people I love will be safe as long as I'm around.
Oh.
And that's a very important position.
Listen, I might not have had people to protect me growing up or even now, but I am that person to protect everything that is mine.
Yeah.
My children, my sanity, my peace, my health, everything that has to do with me, I will fight tooth and nail to make sure it remains intact.
Wow. The people that you speak of, your children, they come across a lot in your story. You can't help it. You're a mother.
No, my children don't know anything really. Not much.
No. I mean how you relate to them. They are by far the most important of everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Against all odds.
Absolutely.
And what I like about the story of your kids is that you, even in your TV show, you can't help yourself, but you make sure that they're fine.
I can't help it. I really can't help it. I love my children.
What kind of mom do you think you are?
Well, I'm a very weird one.
Yeah.
I'm not the one ozokufaka ikhwapheni all the time. Oh, my baby this or my baby that. But I will love you with everything I have. I will provide for you. I will protect you. I will teach you. I will give you everything you need to make sure that you become the person that God created you to be.
So you recognize your role, which is something that not all parents recognize, that all they have to do is just prepare you.
Yeah, we just prepare the kids.
Yeah.
That's what you do. That's what your role is as a parent.
You're a chef. You don't eat the food. You just create it. You create it, you serve it, and you hope for the best.
When you are doing it godly, you don't hope for the best. You know the best is coming.
Wow. That's profound.
Yeah.
As young people say, she's dropping bombs.
No, that's the thing. When I was watching some sermon yesterday, and this lady was talking about the fact that you prepare your children. So when they're godly raised, that's your way of worshiping.
Yes.
So you can't worship halfway. So as you love your children, you must remember it's you worshiping.
True.
So if it's plugged into God, you can't hope. You know it's going to come out right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, we exist in a time of strong women, because you speak of women. You're one, and you're raising a woman, and you're raised by one, and grandma involved in the story as well.
Yes.
Your friends, well, there's men and women, but there's a strong womanhood. And it comes from far.
Yeah.
There's a narrative of strong women, and it speaks of Tintin Bogoto and all of that.
Yeah.
What do you say to the strong women in an environment where we exist in? What do you say of that, the narrative of a strong woman in where we are in our time?
Well, I acknowledge the word strong. I really do.
Yeah.
But however, it takes away the human in us. That's the problem I have with it, is that as soon as you are perceived as a strong being, people feel that they can throw whatever nonsense at you because, oh, strong, all right. So I'm against this whole strong thing.
And it applies both ways.
Both ways, yes. Men or women.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we are human. We feel things. We feel pain.
What is the long-term implication of I'm a strong woman, I can do anything?
I think for me, strength is being able to allow yourself to be weak.
Yeah.
Being able to allow yourself to be human.
It's also a sign of strength.
It's a sign of strength. But it was clean up the entire time. That there's a problem there, because one day you're just going to collapse.
Do you find that it ends up having an impact on, this is like a sociology encounter this. Do you find that it also has an impact on relations with men? The strong woman.
Yes, it does. It does. The strong woman story, and I've gone through it for the longest time in my life, where you are strong and you end up being the man in the relationship.
Ooh.
which is an issue. You can't be the man in a relationship. You were created to be a woman. Once there's a man in your life, you step into your position and allow him to step into his. And then together, you work together.
Because a man who is not treated like one, or who is ruled by a woman who's a man.
A woman was not created to rule a man.
Yeah.
And I know Abombogote ngaphandle are going to probably have a thing when they see this, but Mina, I go according to the Bible and what God says. Yeah. It does not mean we don't have the power. We do.
What is your power then as women? I know for sure I can carry this easily. And surely women have a different type of power in that sense.
A home would not be a home without a woman, because you would not even know where to place this table.
That's true.
What kind of a table you should buy, where to buy it, how much it costs.
Despite the fact that I can carry it.
Despite the fact that you can carry it. I know where to buy it, where to put it, where in the house.
So the softness of women is a gift for both men.
That's where the power is. The power is in that softness.
Yo, have we lost that knowledge?
I think we have, because I think we've been abused as women for too long, and we ended up taking away, in fact, suppressing the very thing that makes us powerful, being soft, being feminine. Being a woman, we had to rise up to the occasion and fight back, of which is something that we were not created to do.
And the fighting is unnatural to you.
Well, we can put up a fight, but we shouldn't.
But you don't necessarily even have to put up a male type of fight.
In fact, if fight it is being soft.
Do you use these tricks that you know, Marwen?
It depends, David.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, oh, I'm forever soft. No, I'm not forever soft. My softness comes occasionally, and it's aligned with what I'm dealing with. There are things that require me to put on that man suit and go to war.
And also depends on who you're fighting with.
And it also depends who I'm fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been required to bring up the fighter in you often in the recent months? Yes.
I always have. No, but now what David. But now I've realized that as much as that warrior is in there, the much more powerful one is the softer one.
Wow. So she tends to win more fights.
Kelly, remember the powerful one? Shh. And calm down.
To realize that what you're telling us is that most fights are necessary.
They are. As we are human, we will react accordingly, but most fights are unnecessary. In fact, you win when you are silent.
Yeah.
You win when you step back.
Yeah, you're changing even me. I'm a fighter. People don't know. A fighter. People just don't know that I'm a fighter.
You don't look like one.
Yeah. I suck.
Especially the ones who don't look like one. They are the dangerous ones.
No, I suck at fighting. I will let it be for a long, long time. And eventually you'll know that I'm unhappy.
Okay.
And the worst thing about my personality is once you're cut off, you're cut off. It's over.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. There's no turning back.
I get it.
Yeah. It's the worst type. Raising your kids as a single parent, that can be. Most of us were raised by single mothers.
Oh, especially in our Black community.
Absolutely. The numbers are ridiculous. I spoke about it on the radio the other day. I asked listeners to call in and tell me if they still are looking. I'm aware of the audience I have. They're older. They're in their 40s to 60s. And I said to them, are you still looking?
For what? For love?
For your father. Is the search still inside of you?
The search never ends, David.
It's the craziest thing.
Let me tell you, the search never ends. It becomes that hole or that void that nothing can ever fill.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how old you are.
It doesn't matter how old you are.
I was blown away by 60-year-olds.
You'll find 60-year-olds who are in tears because there is that hole.
Sure.
There is that something missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience with fatherlessness. Tell us about your.
No one deserves it.
Yeah.
No child should ever be put under such circumstances. There's a reason why there's a mom and a dad, and they both play a specific role in the child's life. And it's a shame when that cannot happen. And some of us end up rolling with the punches because there's no alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the long-term implication of it for the child is ridiculous.
Because if it's a boy child, it determines how they choose their partner, vice versa.
Yeah.
So if you did not have that male figure in your life that sets the tone, you won't know what to look for. You won't know what to settle for and what to not settle for. So it is very important.
What impact has it had in your life?
Not having a template of how to choose a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good or bad?
Good or bad. So
Yeah.
you are literally grasping at straws because you're looking for something that you don't know. How are you then going to find it? Or how will you attract it? Because you don't know it.
Yeah. There's a story of a native nation that was living around the sea.
Yeah.
And there were ships that came. These were medieval times, ships that came and they were in the sea. And they woke up in the morning and found these things there. They thought they were mountains that came from underneath.
Yeah.
They had never seen these things before. They had no reference of what they were dealing with. And they were seeing them for the first time. And they thought God has created one more thing. And that is just there. A few days later, people walked out of those things and came to attack them.
Oh my God.
You see what I guess the reason I'm telling you that is if you don't know, you don't know. And you live with that type of life.
And it clouds your judgment.
Forever.
Exactly.
And you become that type of person.
Until you get to, because we can only blame the absence of our parents to a certain point.
Okay.
There's a point where we must rise up to the occasion and take responsibility.
But that takes knowledge.
It does.
Yeah.
So you can't be a 45-year-old who's still crying because your mother wasn't there or your father wasn't there.
That's true.
When do you then take responsibility? Because it gets to a point where you must choose who you want to be.
It takes a certain level of maturity, though, to realize that.
It does. But I mean, I would urge everyone to try and find that part of themselves.
Basically, to Vuga.
No, you have to. Because imagine a 45-year-old who's still blaming their father.
Jeez. And there's lots of us.
What?
Because it's easy to say whether he passed away or he left.
Or he just didn't choose to, yes.
And he walks past your home and never even waves.
There's just men and women who just don't want the responsibility of being a parent.
Yeah.
And I can understand why. It's not an easy thing to do.
It's hard.
It's hard.
But the long-term impact of it, once you realize it, maybe you would say, this is a job I was given and let me do the best.
And then you do your best. Or, okay, my father has not been part of my life. I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
How do I want my life to be?
Jeez. Because now you're here.
Yes.
This is all you.
And now learning from your absent parent, you want to be the better person. Mm-hmm. You have to learn from their mistakes and be the present parent in your children's life.
Because even in an abusive setup, a child that's observing the fight between the parents,
exactly,
they choose a side, a personality, whether to be the one who aggresses or the one who stops and protects this. Yeah. So it still makes you stop for a moment and say you have to choose the path that is correct.
Because even with both parents, David, it gets to a point where you have to choose who you want to be.
True.
Yes, they've given me the foundation. Great. It's a solid one or it's a weak one. But what do I do now?
Yeah.
So hence you can't forever blame your parents.
Your environment now with your kids is one that's similar to fatherlessness.
Yeah.
And circumstances that your cards you were dealt, you couldn't avoid.
Yeah.
They are what they are.
Yeah.
What work do you put in to simplify or make it easy for the kids to become the better person that you're describing?
I give the best of myself as much as I can.
Yeah.
So if there's a role of being a father, even though I've never been a man before.
Or you don't even have a template.
I don't even have a template. I just consistently teach my children what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
And then they decide when they are older. Because at the end of the day, whether you've had a parent or not, you get to a point you must choose who you want to be.
And right and wrong remains the same, whether you're told by a father.
Exactly. Thank you.
It's a tricky one because the cards you're dealt with, and raising a boy can't be easy for you.
No, the energy and the things he does. But one thing I am grateful for is that I'm raising a gentleman who will know how to treat a woman.
Wow.
I think.
He came with that. That's him.
That's him. It's even worse that he's surrounded by women. So he knows he opens the door for me, kisses my hand, carries my bag,
That's amazing.
hugs me every now and then. Mommy, are you okay? Are you safe? I mean, wouldn't anyone want a husband like that?
No, of course. That is the template.
I'm doing something right.
There's a moment where he's asked, you ask him, should I get a husband or a boyfriend?
Yeah,
and his answer was, it'll make you happy.
At some point he even said, Ma, I think you must have a boyfriend immediately because when this guy gets here and I'm all 16, I won't be able to get along with him. So we need to get to know each other now.
Do you find that is quite insightful?
He is. Sometimes he exhausts me. I'm not going to lie because he's just too much. He's inquisitive. He's insightful. He wants to figure things out. And I'm like, Christian, not today. I'm tired.
Where did he get the name? It's an unexpected name. It's a beautiful name.
Well, the name was not given to him by me. Okay. His father gave him that name.
Oh, really?
To me, Ukwezi.
Yes.
The morning star.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I imagine he uses both names.
Endlinu Ukwezi.
Yeah. Do you know, you and I were at a wedding once. You were guest of honor. I was the MC.
When was this?
You won't remember, and it doesn't matter. You would know the person if I mention him. Raleigh Mampeul.
Oh, yes. Yo, Raleigh, your status, I would see me in my camera.
I was invited. I went there with my date, and there you were, the young Kelly Khumalo, a very different one
from this person,
completely different.
Yeah,
tell me about.
I am glad.
A very different girl. Tell me about that girl.
She wasn't aware of who she is, her power, her destiny, and the power that God has vested in her. She was literally moving with the wind, you know? That was her.
And she was in love with a guy who society has come to vilify, some love, some celebrate, and so forth. And you embraced this man at that time.
I don't think that it's not love. Now that I am the person that I am, not love. Far from it.
Yeah.
Far from it.
What was it though? Infatuation, excitement?
Attention.
You wanting it?
Me getting the attention at the particular time. It did not matter who it was. It was just attention.
It could have been anybody.
It could have been anybody. So I would not call it love.
Do you look at that time in your life with regret or with, I had to go through it?
I regret nothing in my life. Otherwise, I would not be this woman. You know, it was just a learning curve, and I learned, and I've moved on.
What was the most important of the lessons that came out of it? I fell in love once. I learned not to date toxic women. Oh, they taste bad. What was your lesson?
But also we attract toxic people because there's a toxic part of us somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether we are willing to accept it or not, but there's a magnet that attracts those kind of people in our life. And I think I had that at that particular time.
Has that changed about you a lot?
Ooh.
Who are you attracting?
Why are you even asking me?
Who are you attracting now? Not the people's names, but what type?
You have no idea what I attract these days. I attract peaceful, kind, thoughtful, warm people who watch what they say,
Yeah.
People who respect women.
Jeez.
Grown-ups.
Maybe there's value in Abo David.
Yeah, David.
There's value.
But also, you have to become it so you can attract it.
That's true.
I had to get to that place in my life where I am at peace, where I've learned to be more kind. I've built a very strong character in myself so I can attract
those types.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go back again to that Kelly Khumalo I met at a wedding. Very happy. I have photos.
I was far from happy.
Far from it.
Far.
Really? So that was a miserable time then for you.
Oh, miserable doesn't begin to even.
But what made you stay so long? And to a point where you created a gentle soul called Christian.
It's not understanding your self-worth.
Yeah. Ooh. That's tricky.
And then you settle for anything that gives you attention, even if it's just a paper idlulayo, because it's giving you attention.
It's flying next to you.
It's flying next to you and you get all fuzzy and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
then the common problem.
And then you start questioning, Goti, if I let go of this paper, will I ever find anything else? Or am I even worthy of finding something else?
For one to get to a point where they think like that, it has nothing to do with the paper, but everything to do with your own insecurity issues. That if I let go of this paper, no other paper will look at me. Because clearly that's a problem.
It takes us back to the template of a man in your life. If he was never there, then you keep grasping at everything that comes your way because you have no idea of what you are looking for and what you are worthy. Because a father in a daughter's life teaches you how a man should treat you.
Exactly.
Yes. And also makes you understand your worth as a woman because you got that love from your father who opens the door for you, who takes you out on dinner dates as father and daughter. Then you already understand the type of relationship and your worth. So if you don't have the foundation of what your worth is, you will find yourself settling for less.
Wow. And I guess, you say it so clearly, if you don't know the template, anything goes.
Anything goes.
Yeah. And that's the experience you have. You're saying you were miserable without going into details. What was so miserable about that?
Everything was a misery.
You hung around a while.
Everything was a misery, but also the stigma of what will people say? Because I've supported this whole thing and I've become one with this whole thing. How do I then now remove myself from this whole thing? And also the fear of the same thing happening to my son again. The fear of not him having a father figure. I think that was my biggest thing. It's like, this thing is not turning out to be what I imagined. And what do I then now do? Because I'm putting my son in the same place I was, or I still am.
True.
But now, do you choose that broken relationship and force him to be raised in that broken relationship, or you just remove yourself and try and figure this thing out?
And I guess the decision is clear looking at where you are now.
No, I've done very well for myself.
Yeah. By removing yourself. Was it a difficult time to say, Because sometimes removing yourself is hard. A lot of people find themselves in these setups where they struggle.
It is hard. And I think a lot of women, we judge them and we don't understand what they're going through. It is not an easy thing to do, to remove yourself, because it needs to start here. You need to reflect and understand who you are, your worth. And that self-love has to kick in. You have to choose you over everything else.
And that's not always easy.
How is it not easy though, David?
Help us understand it.
How, I could literally kick myself because I look at myself now, I'm like, if this thing had happened now, I would have just went, okay, thanks, bye.
See you later.
But I was young.
That too?
Yes, I did not know better and I had not found my true self.
Yeah. You speak of the fear of what will people say if you leave. Surely at that time, that young Kelly was conscious of people's voices.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
I was. What will they say? Oh my God, my son. And then I have a failed relationship that has a child in it.
The moment of leaving, was it one of those planned? Because I was told once.
No, you plan these things. You don't just.
Yeah, when a girl leaves you, they've left you a long time ago. They just tell you.
No, I left long time ago before I could physically remove myself.
Yeah.
I had to gain my strength, understand what I'm about to do, but also expose what's happening in the relationship so that I'd be ashamed to go back if I do go find myself wanting to go back.
Even people will say, how?
How? Ubuyele futhi. Abakushaye kancane.
So that's an important step then.
It's very important. You need to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, your son is a replica, a carbon copy.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel? And I ask this innocently because it probably doesn't matter, but how does it make you feel that, wow, man, that toxicity literally created a carbon copy of the person?
No. That boy is his mother's son.
Yeah.
In every sense, that boy is his mother's son. So there's no moment where I look at him and think otherwise. In fact, that person, I don't see them. I never have to see them ever. I see my son. I see myself in that boy.
Wow. That means you see beyond the skin. You see beyond what we're looking at.
That boy is everything that I am. Sometimes we even have arguments because he's so strong-willed, exactly like I am. I'm like, yeah, no, you are going to exhaust me now.
So much so that, is it his ear problem? Water in the ear or something like that?
He's got the same thing as me.
Yeah. So that's also a reflection of you, I guess.
I would say that my boy, and this is not me running away from the realities of life, but so much of him, there's so much of me in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was an apology recently. Did it matter to you?
David, you are not going to.
I leave it.
Let me tell you, David, and let me start by saying I respect you. You know this. Ne? And my thing this year, and this is for anybody that's going to interview me, you are not going to spit on my hard work by bringing insignificant people and insignificant issues into my platform. I'm very open, but that should not be taken advantage of because it's never, by the time I leave this podcast, it's not going to be about Kelly Khumalo's podcast. It's going to be about what she said about who does not even matter in my life. So I hope everybody at home, who's a presenter, a DJ, you are taking notes. You are not going to spit into my hard work by asking me nonsense. I'm sorry, David.
No.
I had to do it.
No. And the beauty of it is you and I spoke about a little bit of this beforehand.
And thank God.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you get there. I don't know whether, maybe I should interview you at this point. Is it about ratings or because you go to every interview, you get asked the same thing, very sensationalized questions so that it pushes the podcast or the interview?
Not this podcast.
No. I'm generally asking because you would understand.
Let me answer it for you. It's always about the ratings. It's always about the numbers.
So we are being used for numbers.
It's always about the numbers at any given time, because the business that we are in, as broadcasters, as musicians, it's about the numbers. It always is. It's about how many tickets you can sell, how many viewers you can bring, how many listeners you can get, so you can sell advertising space. That's the business we're in.
Okay.
But not this one.
But at the expense of what?
That's the challenge.
Because I still need to have my peaceful life when I leave this podcast.
Absolutely. And that's why I say not this podcast. And that's why when you walked in, what was the first question I asked you?
I don't remember.
I said, which areas of your life do we talk about and which ones do we
I said,
Let's do
yes.
it.
I said, no, I'm not. I'm one person who's not afraid to speak her mind. I think by this time, the country knows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid to speak my mind, and I'm not afraid to say no. And that's just who I am.
Yeah. And your advice was, let's do it.
No,
we get there,
because I don't want your viewership thinking, how come you did not
ask that question?
No, you are going to say, I did ask, but I was put in my place. So thanks, bye.
The beauty of it is I'm comfortable with my place. It doesn't bother me.
No, if it was someone else, they would be bothered.
No, of course.
Yes. But it's you.
Friends matter to you.
Hey, David.
You know why I ask?
Yeah.
Because when you spoke about family, it was pretty clear that you're extending it beyond just the kids and the mother and so forth.
And also,
is it a tricky space?
It's a very tricky space.
Yeah.
You know, there are friends who are your family, and their actions align with what they do, what they say, and whatnot. Even in your absence, that still stands. But there are people you call friends where the narrative changes as soon as you walk away.
Ooh, jeez. You've encountered it, otherwise you wouldn't be talking about it.
I mean, I know these things.
Yeah.
So again, that's where now you need to discern who's for you and who's not for you, who's clapping and who's drilling holes in your boat. Yeah.
And you speak of it because immediately when I said friends, I was hoping you'd say, oh, my favorite. Life is great in that space. And your immediate reaction was, ooh.
You live and learn.
Yeah.
You live and learn.
And some lessons are more expensive than others.
Yeah. But luckily for me, I thank God for this trait. I'm not attached to anything.
Yeah. There's a phrase that you say often, and it comes across on your TV show. You say nothing is guaranteed. You probably not even know where you say it.
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
But the thing is, I'm not attached to anything, David.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'm attached to is God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The rest I'm not. Because you just never know when it will change.
Doesn't that then speak to your loyalty as well to these friends? If you say, whatever.
I'm a very loyal person, David. Extremely. In fact, I'm one of a kind when it comes to loyalty. If I say, or if I said, I have your back, it's exactly that. Come storm or high waters, I will be there.
So believe it. It's not just
It's not just mlomo ngiyakhuluma just to please you. I will be there. So if that is not reciprocated, I take it very personal.
Interesting. The people who give loyalty demand it just as much.
Yes. Because we understand the price of loyalty.
Yeah.
There's things I will have to let go because I am loyal to you.
Yes. So
there's fights that I will have to be part of, willingly or not, because I have chosen to be loyal to you.
Has friendship injured you in any way? Your personality? Have you experienced one that left a permanent scar?
I don't take friendships that seriously to a point where for me, there's different compartments of, friendships. There's friends who are family. There's friends who are just friends.
And it's pretty obvious that
hi, the industry, drink champagne, goodbye, bye, great. And then there's friends who walk into my house who are family, because I don't just let anyone into my home unless you are family. Then that's when I will take things personally,
you don't just let anybody close to your kids and your mom.
No,
and so
I don't. So once you've been part of that world, you are already family. And anything you do that does not represent family, I will take it very seriously.
I'm jealous of your friendship with Wanda, just so you know.
Why?
I think it's amazing. It's too cool.
We were talking this morning.
It's too cool. It's too cool. I look at it like, man, I want a friend like that.
No, but also we all find friends who are like that, who become family. And I've managed to get a couple of friends
like
who are family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, family. Yeah.
They've qualified.
Yes, but also now.
And it's the same for you.
And it's the same for me. I mean, their families are my family. So if anything is wrong, because I'm like, oh, okay, part of the family is suffocating that,
Jeez. It's amazing. People will think, David, you have a musician there. You haven't asked a single question about music.
Podcast.
I told you though that for me it's more about your story. It's more about your life. It's more about your life experiences. And one thing I've learned, and I learned this when I spoke to Sophie Ndaba, we called her for a chat like this one.
Yeah.
And what people appreciated the most is her insights, her little lessons, and her life lessons. Because people watch you guys from a distance and they take only what they want. And they interpret it the way they want. And yet they don't realize that there's a lot more.
It always gets lost in translation.
Yeah. There's a lot.
That's the sad part about being in this industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to you than just, ukulai and pelelala.
No, there's a whole lot more than that. Because as soon as I leave that stage, I am something else.
Let's talk about the stage. I had the rare privilege of working with you in a production at Telkom.
Yeah.
And I was told by one of your backing vocals that, siya rihesa. Siya rihesa. I'm a stickler for things that go well, that go perfectly. And that's why whenever I tell people, when we do that production, because it's a season 2, I've done it with probably almost 25 artists.
Oh, congratulations.
It's quite a bit, yes.
It is a lot.
And your moment was one of the many.
Yeah.
I will tell you now, and I'm not buying your face, you rehearsed more than all of them.
I did?
You did. Because I insist on it. Because my client insists on it.
Yeah.
Because they want to see a good show.
But also, even if it was not for you and your client, that's just who I am.
I realized that I didn't even have to tell you.
No, that's just who I am. So if I am going to present a show, it must be a good show.
That's true. Because I remember, because he was performing, this backing vocalist was performing with one other artist on stage. We had to cut that short. He was looking at the time. We asked him after the show, what the hell was that? You're performing with somebody else and then you keep looking at your watch while you're performing, while we are shooting. What the hell? I said, you're okay, we are fine. Tell me about that side of you.
It's not even, I don't really find, I threaten to.
Okay, well,
I threaten.
The threat is working.
No, the threat, I'm glad it is. Because at the end of the day, I respect what I do.
Yeah.
But mostly I respect the receiving end, the people who are consuming my music. So if the pot or the dish is half cooked, then what am I expecting them to do?
That's true. You can't expect them to still enjoy the meal.
It's pure disrespect.
Yeah. But you go all the way.
I have to. I don't know any other way.
How many days did you rehearse for before you came to a show? You may not remember, I thought a day or two would be more than enough. It seems it was quite a number of days
I think
prior.
It was 3 or 4.
Yes.
4. It wasn't but also we were rehearsing for other things.
Oh, yes, because you're building up to December and so
So
forth.
it was a long thing.
Where does this side of your personality come from that says you have to do it right or don't do it at all?
I have no idea. But I will tell you why I strive for perfection as much as I can. Because that's also worship.
Yes.
It's a gift that God has given you. So you can't be somewhere in between. You have to go all the way because you are worshiping through your gift.
Yeah.
So how dare I minimize my worship? How dare I limit my worship?
It speaks to knowing your talent but not respecting it. Because there's a lot of people like that. They know they can run really, really fast, but it doesn't stop at just the talent. It also comes with
commitment
and working at it and getting it better and better and better. So you are like that, and it's inside of you.
It's in me, and I don't think it will ever change.
Yeah.
That's just who I am.
Wow. Does it also reflect in other things that you do in your life that are not even related to music?
Even with cooking.
You like that? You give me an example of this of Kelly the chef.
Like if I'm cooking, the presentation will be up to scratch. How I put my food in the plate, it must look presentable. I cannot have a mafuta, a flyer. I must have like a clean cloth, wet one to wipe around, like how the chefs would do it. That's me.
Jeez, man. It goes throughout your entire life, personality.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. You're leaving me with a bit of I should do better.
Well. Does
it put pressure around people around your life? Because not all of us will want to carry the same weight. In any situation, if 4 of us were carrying this table, there's one who will pretend they're carrying, but they're not.
My thing is that I just do what I do. That's who I am. But I hope that people would learn from it, but not be pressured by it. Because once it's pressure, it doesn't bring positive fruits.
It's no longer fun.
No.
Once it loses its...
No. Once the love and the enjoyment is not, and the willingness to do this is no longer there, then it's not fruitful.
When did you discover music in you?
David.
5-year-old, 10-year-old, or
3 rather.
What?
I used to sing on my mother's back.
What?
Yep.
That far back?
That far back.
Did the family recognize it?
Yeah.
That
they used to make me just stand in front of everyone.
You were one of those kids?
Yes, and sing, entertain guests who come in and out of our house. They will tell you we have a child who can sing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And when did you discover the possibility of a career in music? Or when you was like...
When I quit school.
How old were you then?
16.
That's very early. It's not... what level of education were you at?
I was in grade 9 going to grade 8. Grade 10.
Yes. And you said...
How
did the elders take it?
They didn't take it. I had to run away from home.
What?
And go missing for a couple of months and stayed with my stepmother at the time. And I only came back when I knew they would not make me go back.
How did she take it?
Who? My
stepmother?
I don't think she even paid attention. Coming to think of it, she didn't.
She said, okay.
But Nami, I was forcing myself in there. Yeah.
Did you have a good relationship with her? Good enough for her to let you?
Well, we had a good enough relationship for her to let me stay with her.
Yeah. Was it the music that made you quit?
I knew I wanted something more than just sitting in the desk or in the classroom and listen to some teacher telling me what to do.
But you didn't necessarily know it was music?
I knew it was music.
Okay.
I just did not know how to go about it.
What was step 1? Well, step 1 is run away from home.
And then we started a band.
Lala, the Jackson 5. What band was this? In the East Rand, right?
It was called Spiritual Touch. Gospel band.
I was about to say.
Gospel band. I think there was like, how many of us? 15 of us or so.
Jeez, that's a big band.
It was big. It would even be bigger with like instruments and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we sang beautifully.
Wow.
Because our mission, in fact, we made it a point to rehearse every day around 4 in a garage, perfecting our singing skill.
Yes.
On a daily basis without fail.
Were you performing? Were you getting gigs, however small?
We would get gigs at church, at weddings and stuff, yeah.
And that's where the spirit of this thing, Guti, I can keep doing this.
I'm like, okay. But also, even in church, I would enjoy myself more on stage than just sitting and watching other people, because I'm like, you could sing it better than that. You could do this, that, and then it would sound better.
Jeez. So is there music in the family?
Mm-hmm. My mom can sing.
Hey, man.
My father can sing. My grandma could sing. My late uncle could sing. In fact, everyone at my house.
So you took it there. Yeah.
Well, I'm the only successful singer.
You had to rub it in. You had to rub it in. Why did you even have to rub it in?
No, I had to just throw it in there.
Poor Khumalos have to carry this now.
No. Oh, well, I mean, really, I had to fight to be where I am. So I'm allowed to brag every now and then, aren't I?
You are.
Excellent.
And now you're starting a band. You're back home. Mommy's saying,
No, mommy's not even here. Mommy doesn't know until she found out that I was at my stepmother's house.
And then went to fetch you.
If she fetches me, I must go missing until she leaves.
Jesus. Talk about being rebellious. Do you know those kids that families talk about? When's that manj?
No, I was that one.
Oh, manj. What? And you kept on going.
I think I just knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it was a hard thing for my parents or for my mother to accept, which Tina Lasbia Kone, you must go to school, graduate and go work for someone.
That's true.
And I'm like, no, that's not who I am.
What do you say to parents who are facing a similar challenge now?
I think your children tell you who they are. And your duty as a parent is to nurture that in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Nurture it, protect it. If my auditions, take them there. Be part of the journey rather than being against the journey.
Because the journey will happen.
It will happen eventually. And sometimes it will happen gabhlungu because uzobaleke ekhaya, and then what?
It's a perfect story. What happens beyond the choir, the 16-member choir that could have been joyous?
Then we recorded.
What?
Yes.
There's an album.
Well, somewhere. a cassette somewhere.
You saw it, a physical cassette of you guys.
Yes, somewhere.
With a picture and everything.
With all of us in there. I remember we went to Carlton Center to hire some leather outfits from some shop.
Wow.
So we were all dressed in black. Some had red leather jackets, some had blue, it was a whole thing.
Do you still remember the members of the band? Is there any one of them that comes to mind at all? Because I know it's so.
One of the members of the band is actually my pianist now.
What?
One of my pianists.
He has a similar story as you, except for the running away.
Well, except for the running away. So Tato is one of my band members, and he was part of the group. He was actually the keyboardist of.
He was still.
Yes, and he was so young, but we were all cooked up in that garage and fighting to sound amazing.
Wow. There's something to be said about one knowing what you want, two running and chasing it until you get it.
At all costs.
At all costs. Because you had to pay, I imagine, a big price. One of not having a certain future. And that future was even the following day. You didn't know what was going to happen.
I didn't even know. I look at myself now, I was like, wow, Kitty, you were very brave.
Yeah.
Because nothing was guaranteed.
Are you still that brave?
I have to be.
Yeah.
What choice do I have?
We sometimes grow up and we
We tame ourselves.
We get slapped on the wrist a few times that we...
It's the worst thing that you can ever do to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you were innocently created like that for a reason, for you to just not stop and fight for what you believe in.
Such an important one, because I used to be brave, and I say it very carefully. I used to be very brave, and...
You are not anymore.
There's still a part of me that's very brave, but I know that there's if I was a bird, I've lost a few of my feathers and I can't fly as high as I once did. Okay. And I've been going through a process of trying to regain that.
But also feathers do grow back.
That's true. And that's why I say I try to take off sometimes. Like,
no,
let's keep going.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. There's no reason why you should.
Where do you draw your strength?
I'm going to sound like a broken
record.
Yeah. But my strength comes from God.
Yeah.
And every time I tell people this, it's like, oh, there she goes again. She's going to tell us about her God.
Don't worry, it's not your God.
Well, it is my God.
It's our God.
No, I don't know what kind of God you have. So let me be safe and say,
in case my God is dodgy.
Just in case your God is questionable.
I think your God knows your God, but it's okay. My God is aware of your God.
So, I mean, people ask me this all the time. It's the same answer.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to answer it anyhow.
You draw your strength from prayer, from acknowledging.
Prayer and acknowledging conversations with God all the time and assurance that I get from God. It's a father to daughter relationship that is cultivated on a daily basis.
And if you are aware, if you miss that connection, like when you don't talk to him often enough.
No, I do. I remember, I think one of these days, I think it was 2 days ago, and I'm so exhausted. There's something in me that says pray. I'm like, I'm exhausted, and I fell asleep. And then I woke up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I forgot.
I forgot to pray. Like I forgot to call him.
Yes, it's like a day-to-day basis, like all the time. Even when I see something exciting, I'm like, thank you, God. Yeah. If I see something disturbing, Father, what is this?
I want to go back to the music so I don't lose focus. The music.
Yeah.
What happens next from the record with red and black leather jackets? What happens next?
Crux Gospel Star happens next.
Wow. There goes a TV opportunity.
And I went to audition. I saw it on TV. That's how courageous I've been.
Yeah.
I'm like, this show, I'm going there.
And you were a kid.
Yeah, I'm going there.
And still no real support.
No real support, but individually, I'm like, that show, I am going.
And you went?
I went.
And how does it turn out?
I'm in a taxi, not knowing where I'm going, from the East Rand to Randburg here in Blackgorry. And they dropped me off at Jan Smart's. Now I don't know what to do. I don't even know where Blackgorry Center is. So I'm like, so what do I do? This is where now the intuition kicks in. Something says, follow this road. I follow the road. Halfway through the road, van, they stop. Where are you going? They're like, oh, we're going towards that side. Wow. Hop in.
That brave.
I didn't even think twice. I didn't think about being abducted.
Nothing
I didn't think
like
about
that.
anything. I hopped in and they dropped me off just on time for me to go and
that was it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Bye. But also I believe I know I'm taken care of.
True.
By the higher powers.
Yeah.
So it was the higher power taking care of me at that moment.
Got in, audition.
Number 800 and something.
Whoa. There's no moment in you that says, maybe not a good idea.
No, I'm chilled. I've even made friends with people outside. Some are taking Xanax because of nerves and everything.
and I've always sensed, let's into those small things you put for your voice.
I'm a sensen.
Yeah.
Vigrons.
There you go.
So they have those and I'm just sitting there looking all rusty because, really, the life wasn't so great at the time, but you just have to roll with the punches. And yeah.
you got to number one.
I get there, blow everyone off.
What?
And then I get eliminated at top 3.
It's not bad.
No, it is bad for me.
Okay. Tell me about how bad it is.
Very bad.
I'm thinking it's your
I
first
actually
attempt.
got my first panic attack.
Really?
Yeah.
Because as far as you're concerned, this was yours.
I mean, I sang better than everyone in that competition.
What happened, in your opinion? From
don't-
your perspective?
It wasn't my journey.
Yeah. But did it give you a platform that you needed?
Oh, it did, because Bonsai, who later signed me, was one of the judges there.
Then it worked.
It did.
Do you know that number one the careers never go anywhere?
Oh, you don't need to tell me. I know.
Do you remember who was number one?
I know. I'm not saying any names.
Do we know this number one? Are they still trying?
I doubt you do. They probably somewhere selling fruits on the side of the road.
Yo, so it's good you didn't get number one in hindsight. Because I'm a number one, even on Idols and all other shows. Number one never goes far.
It's always the number 2, 3 that make it.
Whose careers we still talk about
And
today.
now I was number 3.
Zamachobe was number 10.
You see?
Yes, and
Yeah, Pumindawo Yami hit skyrocket.
amazing. And you were signed. Did it take long between sorry, you didn't make it, to sis, I was up.
No, they said to me, we'll call you.
And they did.
As I was trying to, making my way to backstage, they're like, when one door closes, another one opens. I'm like, this lady's just trying to be nice.
And you did get the call.
I did eventually get the call, signed a contract, released the biggest hit ever.
Remind me of that hit.
Rinisela.
Of course. Yeah. How do I even forget that? Tell us about the process of creating that song in terms of what was happening and what were you talking about?
I had to sing the song that my grandmother taught me.
That's it. She was still there.
She was still there.
Wow, man.
She was so proud.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was around, like, physically at the time.
Yes, physically she was around at the time, yeah. Yeah, listen, the joy in my grandmother's face was beyond words.
Do you sometimes feel it'll be, well, you've created bigger hits after that? Hell, I played your gospel song, MP?
Espambanin.
No.
Empin.
MP, yeah. Everybody.
Why do you call it a gospel song?
Isn't it doesn't have a gospel message? You're fighting, you're talking about a war. It's a song of war.
So nishukuthi le gospel leg ngiyayishaya mara ngikho away.
You tell me what war you're talking about there. And note, I'm a petty guy. So what war are you talking about in that song?
It's not just a specific war. It's wars that we are faced with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It could be war of not having peace within yourself, war of mental health, war of
poverty.
Of poverty.
Yeah.
Politics, everything that we are faced, crime, everything that we are faced with.
Yeah. What message in for you particularly, because you've given 10 different types of wars.
Yeah.
What war were you battling with when the words came to mind?
Well, I didn't write the song, Mondli did.
Ah, okay.
And for the first time, I had to just take a back seat because I wanted to experience myself from someone else's lens musically. And I think when he writes things that I can relate to.
Yeah.
But I can't really say that I was going through a specific war at the time. I think it was just finding who I am and just anchoring who I am. Yeah.
You understand the size of that song? Do you understand the size of that song?
No. I try not to dwell on the size of
the stuff you do.
Of the stuff I do.
Why not though?
It helps me to keep grounded.
That's true.
Because once you take the size and put it in your head, you're no longer operating from the place of power and authenticity. You are operating from a place of ego that is somehow buffed up by these numbers. Yeah.
Ungena ucanga ukuthi usikhokho vele.
No, ngena la ngokuthi abo David bangasitsheli siyashisa.
Yeah. Do you find that not being that way helps you to keep doing better and better?
I don't think I'll ever be that kind of a person.
Yeah.
I think God grounded me at a very young age, so I understand that this is all from Him, and if I start behaving otherwise, it can literally be stopped.
Any minute.
Exactly.
Whose music inspired the young Kelly who ran away from home?
Whitney Houston,
Wow.
Aretha Franklin, Mariah Carey.
Not even our locals.
No, Brenda Fassie.
Of course.
Busi Mhlongo.
What did you draw? Because they say we are the sum total of the people we admire very often, particularly with their careers. I know I say the story a lot. I drew from Bob Mabena a little bit of that, and I do from Just Ice a little bit of that.
Yeah.
What things stood out about these individual artists?
Brenda had the personality more than anything. Yes, the gift was there.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
But she was very sure of herself. That I took.
Yeah.
And then there's Busi, who was very aligned with her roots, where she comes from. And I took that from her. And then there's Aretha, who had that gospel background and was willing to just belt out at any given point.
That's true.
And then Mariah Carey had that tender, soft but yet cutting through voice. And then there was the voice, which is Whitney Houston, who just had the skill to sing just about anything, anyhow.
At any range.
At any range.
Yes.
You can rehearse and think, I'm going to a Whitney Houston show. You get there, Whitney is singing the song differently. You'll just sit there and watch.
And you know what she can do, but she's giving a different version
You know the lyrics of the song, but you can't sing along because Whitney will always be Whitney.
Do you still carry those little trades every time you make music, even now?
It depends, but I am more comfortable in myself now. So there's more of me that comes out more than the people who inspired. Yeah. They helped to shape the gift.
Or to push the car.
Just to push the car. But now the car does not need the pushing.
That's it.
It's moving on its own.
Yeah. And that's where you are now. Do you still find you need inspiration, one, to create, to perform? Because sometimes it's hard to wake up to the day and go say, I'm going to do it again. Or it's always there for you?
That's the thing. I've reached a point where I have no choice. If it's not there, you must dig deep and find it.
Yeah.
Because the promoters are waiting out there.
That's true.
Yeah. If you respect what I bring to the table, I also respect what you are bringing to my table. Then we have mutual respect.
Ours was an easy negotiation. You knew what you wanted. There's no room to negotiate.
Like this, then we are ahead.
No room. And I like artists like that. Tandi says exactly the same. Lira is exactly the same. I like artists like that. They're clear. You won't have another conversation. Not about money, not about the contracts, not about the rider, hospitality riders. It's clear.
No, but also we had mutual respect.
That's true.
You kept your end of the bargain, and so did we.
That's it. Yeah. And as you say, because of the respect, you're able to give it everything. Because we then say, no, you have to give her everything.
Exactly.
Because she'll respect it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Where else do you see what you're doing now with this gospel journey? As you say, we see gospel even when you're not singing it.
I know. I don't know where this is going. I'll be honest with you.
Is it something that's always been the back of your mind?
It has been.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in it. I was groomed by it.
True.
So every now and then it resurfaces and it needs me to feed it. I have to feed it all the time.
So now you're giving it its biggest...
No, listen, now it has gotten to a point where it no longer wants a pie. It literally wants the entire house. And I'm like, how?
Wow.
Yeah.
What is this thing you're doing?
It's a gospel concert. And I think my goal with this one, because I've seen how children of God are divided by who goes to which church. So therefore, So my goal with this one is to say, listen, I understand you have your compartments, but at the end of the day, we cry and pray to the same God. So why can't we get under the same roof and worship this power that has sustained us for so long?
Interesting, you're using a house as an analogy. They say with religion, we're knocking different parts of the house. Abanye is at the window.
Yeah.
Others are knocking at the door. Others front door, back door.
Abanye bangakhupha nomgodi lapha foundation just to get in.
You know, but when we eventually get to realize, we'll find ourselves around the same table.
Exactly.
And say, I always thought.
So what was the fast in the first place?
So you're saying this is what you recognize.
Let's end the fast.
Yeah.
Let's all get together, because at the end of the day, we are praying to the same God.
What sets I've just recorded a similar show that I did with you, but I've just recorded a gospel version of it.
Yeah.
For the Easter weekend. What sets this approach different from what others are doing? Because I always look at it as such a competitive space. We literally had no less than 20 artists to choose from. We needed only 3 for the gospel weekend.
Hence, I'm saying I've told so many people that I'm no gospel artist.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be one. I'm just a child of God who is just sending good vibes to everyone.
That's it.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And also, I think along the years, I don't know, maybe it's Christianity or whatever it is, but they've created a wall between the world and them, such that the world feels like they need to be a certain way to fit into the other world. I'm saying never mind the wall. God is for us all.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can walk through the wall.
As you are, nepia yako, if it means was a nepia yako.
I always play a song by Kirk Franklin where it tells people to raise their hands, and the world is in your hands. And I always say, raise your beer.
No, truly, because now the thing is, if you preach the gospel of yegeli beer before uzendlini kaNkulunkulu,
ngeke abantu bazi.
Bathi bayi umuntu asiphuzela beer yakhe, but mawuthi woza nale beer, eventually they would look at the beer and think, actually, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
It becomes a personal decision without being pushed into it.
I like how you say you're not a gospel artist. You're simply bringing through a message.
Yeah.
I imagine it's a lot of, if not all, brand new songs. Am I correct?
I do, with the upcoming album. And to my surprise, when I listen to the message, I'm like, ow. No. 3 songs already, and they're very godly without being godly.
Yes.
So if you listen through the message and you're like, oh my God.
Is the style, the texture of your music any different at all?
This time around?
Yeah.
It's more soundtracky.
Really? Was it deliberate?
I don't know. It just happened.
Is it
like when you listen to the music, you think of the movie that you might want to place it in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you would associate it with that. And you're clearly saying you haven't done that type of thing before.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
I've had beautiful songs before that are amazing. But when I listen to this particular product, I'm like, oh, I see a movie here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it because they connect together as a body of work, or they just the way they sound?
It's the way they sound, but also, I mean, if you are going to call the album From a God to a King, it must represent that level of greatness.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's what you're essentially doing.
Yeah.
There's a musician you worked with in your past, Robbie. What place does he have in your heart?
A very significant one.
Why is that?
I think Robbie was one of the authentic people I had in the industry. And he was that Malume father figure type that will protect and be there and see what your gift needs and plug you into that.
Was generous, it sounds like.
Well, maybe to me, I don't know how other people perceive him, but that's what I experienced with him. Yeah.
Did you always know? Because, every time I speak of Robbie on the radio, I've never met him. I never had the privilege. And I always say his hands were green. If he was a farmer, he would have been a very rich man. Because
Robbie knew what to do, how, to who, or with who. So
that's a special time.
Yes, you could be sitting here, Robbie's thinking, if we can do this and combine it with that, this will come out. But also, Robbie understood the power of the tongue, which a lot of people fail to understand.
Tell me about it.
Robbie would never speak negatively of his work.
Irrespective.
Never.
Wow.
Unless we are in studio, we are still trying to create, he will tell you, no, let's drop it.
That's
I remember Jakes and we are halfway through the song and Robbie storms out and then he comes back. He says, nah, Jakes, ifile lento le.
Really?
No, he said it to all of us. Ifile lento, drop it.
It also means, and it sounds like you guys said you were feeling what you were recording.
Yeah, no. Not to doubt, but because we in that space which we are in studio, let's carry on. Maybe we will feel differently because there are songs that don't feel nice as you're creating
and
them.
And they make it.
And then they make it.
That's true.
And then Robbie comes in and says, no.
And clearly that's a special touch.
It is.
Yeah. To have the ability to say, meh.
And also Robbie will tell you, once the song is done, he will tell you that it's a winning song. Nobody has heard it. It's just us in the studio. And Robbie says, yeah, it's a hit.
How did you take the loss of Robbie?
I didn't take it well.
Jeez.
I didn't take it well at all. It took me time.
Really?
It's actually surprising that I'm here and I can speak about it without breaking. It means I've accepted it. But for the longest time, it was a no-go area.
Yeah, you couldn't.
No, because I just couldn't understand. I didn't get it.
How can this guy just leave?
I mean, really?
Were you still hoping, and obviously, to continue doing more with him because he's that kind of guy?
I would definitely be doing more stuff with Robbie. I mean, he was that kind of a guy, but also we grow and we find ourselves in a different path. But I had not anticipated that path to be cut so short.
That's it, yeah. Which speaks to the phrase "gone too soon."
Yeah.
Like how you get into a deep thought when you think about that. I want to wrap up, but I still feel there's so much more.
David, I've been here for how long?
I know.
This is like Oprah and Whitney Houston.
Right.
3 hours of interview.
Crack is whack. Crack is whack. Would you practice as a healer? Or do you practice? Let me rephrase. Maybe I'm praising.
Maybe I've been practicing. I just don't know.
Yeah. Utwasile. You've gone through that.
That's not my path.
Okay.
I've tried it 4 times. And I wouldn't say fail. I would say I was kicked out of it because that's not who I am.
Jeez. So you've gone through it and it's like,
Every time I have to graduate,
something happens.
Something happens and I'm cut off like that.
Amazing how you go back.
No, Angiti, let me tell you what happens with these things. When you start feeling pressure of your things not going accordingly, you think it's because you left an unfinished business.
That's true.
Gandhi, it's not the unfinished business. The unfinished business is not there. It's here. So I don't need to go back and do that ever again.
So now you've accepted.
I've accepted, but now I'm much more stronger than I was before.
Wow. 4 times. Because I hear it's not easy. You've done it 4 times. That's crazy.
It's not an easy journey. But I can tell you one thing. The journey I'm on now feels right to me. because it's because gifts are different. There's people who work with imiti 99. There's
bones.
people who work with water. There's bones. There's astrology.
There's candles.
There's
Yes.
a whole lot.
Yeah.
Sinikeziwe. But it's just for one to find their path and stick to it.
Yeah.
So mine is literally ngoba zothi ngiyaloya. I can literally.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't need more. Just this.
Water. It's not complicated.
No.
I offered you so much when you walked in and
Thank you.
you wanted water. Ngiyamchama. Akachameki.
Angithi bangibone at some point ngiseduze kwamanzi but yo you're slow. If bengiloya kamampela ngabaningi ngabaqeda.
Listen to that. So they must know. Ukuthi kahle kahle awuloyi ngabe uloya.
No, if bengiloya ngempela.
Yes. Do you know, your mom is active in your kid's life. I find it admirable. I like it how...
It's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I
Really
like how
is.
you've led it and it's...
No, my kids love their grandmother and their grandmother loves them.
back.
So I cannot stand in the way of that relationship, no matter what circumstances we may encounter in the future. That's a no-go area.
Whether you'll ever get to a point monga khulumisana nomama akho, you'll still let them be.
Abanika kokweni bafethu angizingi.
Wow. I asked this because your mom's makes reference to Christian's life as such an important thing in her own life.
Because she does not have a boy child.
Yeah.
So Christian was our first boy child in our small family.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, it's like, yo, I finally have a boy.
So it's almost her boy just as much as it is yours.
No, forget about me. I'm always put la.
Do they have a special relationship?
A very special one. Extremely special one.
Yeah.
They love each other.
That's amazing. Eh? And you let them be, eh?
I do. I can't stand in the way of that.
Yeah.
I cannot.
I look at it and I always say kids are raised by their grandmas better than their moms very
That's
often.
true. That's true.
You know, the wisdom that comes with grandparents is incredible.
True.
The patience that come with grandparents is incredible.
It's better than us, Tina. We are always on the move.
Absolutely.
Susa leso siche monga susu, you are going to get spanked.
Hey,
Grandmother's like, my boy, can you just take and put it in the sink?
It's karma.
Yes.
And that's why the role, and I like that you let your mom play her role as a parent.
Yeah.
Because it's such an important one. I think, you know, kids who are raised by young parents, they lose out a lot on the wisdom that comes from
Yes.
And for you
and also the grounding.
Yeah. For you to let it happen, because I was raised by a grandma. My mom was around in the house, but my references between the 0 to 6 or to 7 maybe is my grandma.
Me too.
And I remember those being really special days.
Yeah.
You know, and they always stay in my mind. In the little house I live in, the biggest painting I have is that of my grandma.
Oh.
It's humongous.
Now you have given me an idea.
There you go. It's humongous. And it's staring at me all the time.
Oh, man. I'm so jealous.
Go do it.
I'm definitely going to do it.
Go do it.
But I need to find an amazing artist.
Artist who will portray. I tried not to be too artistic with it. I just wanted to have faith.
Funny enough, I have this pillow that has my face on it.
Yeah.
But I never see myself in that picture.
Wow.
I see her every time
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I like how she's always with you. I guess this was my way of trying to bring mine in my life because she was that special. I remember I commissioned an artist to do it the day after I came back from her burial site.
Yeah.
Have you been to your grandma's burial site?
Don't start.
Ooh, is that another sensitive one?
No, that one I am not going to talk about. It's very sensitive.
Really?
Yeah. It's but I'm grateful that irrespective of me not having gone to visit her graveside, she is with me all the time.
So you probably don't even need to. You've accepted that. You probably don't.
Yeah, I have actually. I have.
Because I realized that matters. It mattered quite a lot at some point.
It did. It did up until I had to accept ukuthi lo muntu engimfuna akekho lapha is right in my house.
All the
Wherever
time.
I go, she's there.
Yeah.
So there's no need for me to go and look for her in a tombstone somewhere.
Yeah. Yours is a fascinating life. And I always look at you, and a client of ours made reference to you and said, we're talking about great people.
Yeah.
And she said, you know, she's so brave. I don't even know her music, but she's so brave. She's like her fire.
Yeah, no, it's God-given fire.
And you recognize it. That's the beauty of it.
I know it, and thank God for that fire, because I don't think I'd be where I am if it wasn't for that fire that says keep pushing.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Because others stop.
Yeah, once they see trouble, they stop. Or they go back.
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you, and obviously it helps you to keep going. Do you have moments where you doubt yourself, like all humans? Where you say, Or is it a constant, come on, man?
I do have those moments, but I very quickly talk myself out of them.
Wow.
Because it's like, Kelly, that's not you.
Yeah.
I do have those moments, but I quickly recognize them and get myself out of there.
In your TV show, you go to seek help from I forget his name, this gentleman. He helps with family issues and say
My therapist.
Your therapist, yeah. You visit him a lot, and something that I've never done.
Oh, you should do it.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's why I'm asking you really about the benefits of something like that and what it has done for you.
Oh, they are amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past, I would not go and speak to someone about my problems because I feel like I need trust, number one, and number two, now umuntu fana nami nenkinga esifana nezami, so why should I confide in you? However, it allows you to echo what you've gone through, realize it, and heal from it.
Yeah.
So it literally liberates you.
Wow.
From whatever traumas, whatever anger, whatever disappointment, whatever loss, it liberates you. Having to talk about it and realize how it makes you feel, and you start thinking about what you want to do about it.
Do you find it's the echoing, or it's the advice, or it's just
The therapist never really advises this. They give you options.
wow. They listen and say,
it could be like this, or it could be like this, it could be like this, but it's entirely up to you. And then you choose your path. Because if they choose for you, you will come back when you're in trouble and say, so yeah, when I get managed, it's not working out.
you will blame them for the result of
So
their
they sit there and let you heal yourself and allow you, and in fact, usher you into healing yourself.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because I noticed very early on you introduce it to your kids as well. And you're saying this is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's not a space that we as Abotaki are quite familiar with.
Which is why I'm grateful for this reality show, because it opened up a narrative that has been suppressed for a very long time. In our Black community, we never want to talk about therapy. What? Ngiyokhuluma nobani ngeindaba zakuphi? Angeke ngize ngiyenze lo nto leyo. But my family and I are where we are because of therapy.
So you've achieved a lot with
my son goes to therapy. He's a different boy.
Yeah.
I go to therapy. I'm a different person. My mother goes to therapy. Different. Even Ting was like, why can't I go to therapy? What's wrong with you?
Just jealous. Wants to be a part of the family. Must drag her along.
No, she does go along with the brother when the brother goes to therapy. So she feels like she's part of the whole thing.
The role of raising a girl child in a society such as ours is tricky. What do you hope for her? I don't even know how to navigate through this, because, you can only do the best you can as a mother to a girl child in this society.
Sure. I mean, every mother would hope for the best as far as their children are concerned. And if it's a girl child, you hope that they are strong enough to protect themselves. You hope that they are anchored in who they are so that they walk away very easily from what does not serve them. But you also hope that they're empowered enough not to settle for less.
Because those opportunities will come.
Yes. Where ubaba wemoto is so and lures them and they think, oh my God, can't it's the end of them.
In so many different possibilities of what could happen from that moment.
Exactly.
I have a friend whose mom very early used to take her to expensive restaurants and said, so nobody will ever lure you.
It's exactly my mentality.
Yeah.
So that's why when I do things for my children, I go all out so that it's not a taboo thing when someone shows up in fancy stuff and you're like, oh, they have money. Oh, they're going somewhere. I want it. No, she must say, I know exactly what that is. What do you have to offer outside of your money?
Yeah. My mom showed me this when I was a kid. This
exactly.
Wow. You're a star. Do you know that?
Thank you, David.
You shine so bright. Yeah, I need those sunglasses. You're a star. And there's something I like about your personality. You give people nicknames. I don't know if it's just boyfriends, but I'll leave it at that.
No, David. No, you are going to pack this one.
Sharp.
And right now.
Sharp. Do you only give boyfriends nicknames? I'm moving out of it. For the record.
Oh, wow.
I want to hear if...
How tactful.
I want to... Is it only boyfriends that...
Why are we talking about boyfriends in the first place?
Do you give everybody nicknames?
Thank you, David, for the question. Now I will glorify it with an answer.
Okay. Because I realized you named them Abu Aulo.
No, but the thing is, in my family, we grew up in a family that gives people names.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Mention one.
No.
Anyone.
No.
I in my family and my mother's side, they have this as well. Actually, I will not tell you because it's bad. Somebody will find out what they call him. And
no, David, I'm telling you, let's not get into
so there's a lot of people with nicknames that they don't know.
Let me tell you, with my family, and I think with my friends too, friends who are very close.
Family friends.
Yes. We can have an entire conversation without you knowing what we are talking about.
You could talk about me without me knowing. Wow. So is it your thing or you got it?
We got it from the family.
Yeah.
And it just happens that we click with friends who also
play along
with, not even play along. Nabo bayayazi land. Usho na umashubaba uyange. You know what I'm saying? So we all know who Mashubaba is. So
Mashubaba doesn't even know.
Oh, what?
Nah, uthi Mashubaba.
If you only knew we were talking about you, you would not even be part of
it. I was surprised and it takes a while for one to pick it up. That this is not what Kelly's doing. It's like, hey man, everybody has nicknames here.
No, there is nicknames. Trust me.
Yaksab. Yaksab. Are you dating anyone now?
I'm not going to answer that, David.
Okay. Are you looking for love?
No, I am not.
What does love mean to you?
Love.
Romantic love.
Romantic love.
Yeah.
Oh, why do you want to put me there?
Hey, you're human. I'm just curious how you see it, how your love language. Are you the giving? Are you the taking?
Oh, my love language. I'm such a giving being.
Yeah.
And I'm there. I'm very consistent.
Wow.
And I will take care of you in whichever way I can.
Wow.
I will protect you. I will equip you spiritually in every way possible. I will pray for you. I will help guide you when necessary. I will support you when you need support.
Yeah.
That's me, because I want the same thing. I'll be loyal as well. So I only give the things I expect back.
Do you plan to marry someday?
How do you know I'm not married already?
Because you're wearing a ring the size of this house.
Yeah.
The size of this entire house.
No.
How are you carrying it? Only God.
You are over exaggerating. But anyway,
everybody sees.
I think marriage is a blessing from God. And I would not want to miss out on that blessing.
Okay.
I don't see myself missing out on that blessing. And I think I'd make an amazing wife.
Wow. Okay. What makes an amazing wife? All those qualities.
All those things that I've but also just understanding, because we are in relationships, but we don't understand the people we are with.
Yeah.
We listen, but we don't understand. We hear, but we don't understand. So those are the things that I literally listen to understand.
Yeah.
And these are the things that I've learned recently, that it's no longer just ngiyakuzwa. Do I really, really hear you? I have to put myself in your shoes and see how I would feel.
You are ready. You know that.
David. Twang, or uzobe MC.
I'll be MC. Like we did at Rally.
Okay. Who booked?
Done. I'll be the MC.
MC.
Because I had someone sit on that chair and they said every time they get to the top, they start worrying about losing. Every time they feel like it's working out, they start worrying that they're losing.
Let me tell you why. Well, my understanding of that.
Yeah.
You worry about losing because you know you don't have it completely.
Okay.
So if you are plugged in completely, you know it keeps overflowing. You don't worry about, what if? I used to worry because I did not have it completely. Now that I have it completely, and it's not even about the success, I have myself completely plugged in.
And love is the same.
It's the same with love. It's the same with everything. You worry about losing something that you know you don't completely have it.
Because at the core of insecurities that we have in relationships is the minute he starts saying he loves you, the minute he starts showing this love, it's like you start feeling like, I'm going to lose this. This is not mine. You are over that.
I'm over that. It's like, you love me. Oh, great. I love you too. Moving right along.
Wow. It's not, oh no, I might lose that one day.
No.
Not anymore.
That's the thing. When something is God-given, you never have to worry about losing it.
Yeah.
Because if it's God-given, it means it's rightfully yours. There's no maybe, somehow, could not. Same applies to health. Same applies to wealth. Same applies to everything.
Yeah.
When it's God-given, you never have to worry about keeping it.
I think that's a great note. You are an incredible artist. You are an amazing South African. We love you. I absolutely love you. I think you're an amazing star.
Thank you, David.
I don't use the word love loosely.
Yeah, I'm like, David.
I don't. I'm not used to it. I grew up in a single parent house. I didn't hear the word love.
Then you must start using it more.
Hey, I didn't hear it.
You use it on your children?
I don't have kids. I'm not that lucky yet.
Okay, it's coming.
Eventually, yeah.
On your partner?
Not as often as I should. Not as often as I should. Not as often as I wish.
You know, the more you hear yourself saying it, the more assured you become of it.
Of it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. It's an important one. So we don't express love. We don't hug as our taki. We hug our friends.
Yeah, no. Not
at home. We don't kiss and hug at home.
I know. I think I also share the same sentiment when my mother hugs me. It feels so weird. I'm like...
And it's amazing. If there's a hug you should be getting, is that one?
It's that one. If there's a hug I should be getting. But I'm so grateful that I've worked on myself to a point where it no longer feels weird.
Yeah.
I can now actually cry in my mother's chest.
Wow. And for a while, it wasn't where you would...
What? I'll cry in my bedroom.
Alone?
And get over it.
Yes. I don't know why we... But I guess, it's tricky to blame
But if anything happens to my children, I never want them to cry alone.
You see, imagine how she feels.
You see?
Exactly the same. And vice versa. When she cries, you probably that...
I'm weird. I'm like, Ma, Please don't cry.
No, you can't do that. You should let her cry on your shoulder,
Really?
on your chest.
Okay, I think maybe that's something we need to work on.
There's one more thing.
No, there's
Hey.
always something to work
When
on.
you get home today, say, cry, please.
I'm not perfect.
No, you're not.
I've worked very hard on myself.
Yeah.
And I think I've come very far and I've achieved quite a lot of things in, self-reconstruction,
Yeah.
which I'm proud of. But there are some gaps that I still need to fill in there and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a very infectious, very loud and happy laughter. I wish more of those for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because when we laugh more, we are healthier.
I know.
And we are happier.
I know.
Yeah, sometimes when you're dead sick, all you have to do is just laugh a lot.
Yes, it's actually a cure for a whole lot of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have a very loud laughter, and that's why I enjoyed your trip in Mozambique. You laughed a lot in those 2 episodes. You laughed a hell of a lot, and that was beautiful to watch.
If there's one thing I love doing is laughing.
Yeah.
Really.
It's a strong,
Yeah.
loud, and happy laughter.
Thank you.
So that's why I say to you, South Africans absolutely adore you. They think you are incredible. They will continue
You
to
think?
support you. Yeah.
Maybe you think I'm incredible.
No. But the beauty about this is out of 100 positive comments, that one that's negative, it's the one we remember.
I
hope-
used to be like that.
Yeah.
But now my perspective has changed completely. But that does not necessarily mean I won't come for you.
Ooh. That's how you are. But it doesn't.
I good you've affected me. I'm just
Yeah.
teaching you a lesson.
Ngiyakusaba wena, you know
Ukuthi
that.
if ufuna ukuba yinja sonke singaba izinja.
Uyasabisa, but you know that with statements like that, it's like, yo, lo sisi uzongishaya.
No, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
If you can't stand the heat, don't start the fire.
Exactly.
Yes. You're incredible, ma'am. And I wish you well with your production.
Thank you so much. David.
How and when does it get released? Are you inviting people to come and watch?
Yes, I want people to come and watch and buy tickets.
Yes.
Yes.
When is that? Because we need to plan this around the same time.
15th of
April.
Of April. So
It's the Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
So on that Easter weekend.
Where is it and how many people are allowed to buy?
Gold Reef City Lyric Theatre. Tickets range from $350 to $650.
My favorite stage.
Yes.
I've done so many shows on that stage as MC. It's my favorite stage.
It's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah.
And to be able to praise God in that magnitude is the best thing ever.
Amazing. Yeah. So it's a electrifying show.
I mean, it's
Bells and whistles.
I mean, I have Hlengiwe, I have Daki, and I have Bonza. You remember Bonza?
I remember Bonza.
So
Wow.
Bonza is a pastor.
Yes. So wow.
So
I didn't even know.
he'll be emceeing.
So giving a sermon.
Yes.
Wow.
So
And you're filming all of them.
yes, I'm filming. All
So
of
it
this.
comes out also as a God. We don't do DVDs anymore.
No,
How the
I'm
world
going to
has
sell it
changed.
to you.
You'll find a way to sell it to me.
No, I'll sell it to you.
I want it. But how are you going to distribute it?
Well, let's not worry about that part. Let's worry about the selling part.
Okay, cool. I'll buy it.
Thanks, David. People are watching. I'm bringing.
I don't mind. I'll buy it.
Okay, great. Thank you, David, for buying my unproduced
It's amazing
show.
how we don't do DVDs anymore. The world has changed. Put it on TV. You have these.
Yeah, well,
related.
that's exactly the plan, to have it on TV.
Yeah.
So have maybe a channel buy it
Yes,
from us, and
Showmax or whatever.
yeah.
That would be great. And I was fascinated. One of the reasons that made it easy for me to justify having you on our show,
Yeah.
because we have to send through a list of artists, and client says yes, no,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
You had billboards everywhere.
Oh yeah.
How does that feel? Who's born who saw? I would feel great.
I'm so weird.
Yeah.
I recognized it, and it flew right out.
Wow.
And I carried on. I remember Wanda saying, "Chomi, are you actually stepping out of the house looking like this? You have billboards everywhere."
I like it. I like it. And did that change you? No.
No.
You stepped out of the house. That's amazing.
Why pressure myself like that?
No, it was impressive.
It's Kelly Khumalo on the billboards. The person who's stepping out of the house is Christian's mom.
That's it. And those are two different people.
Two different people. So imagine if I were to be a product on a daily basis.
That's a lot of work.
That would be exhausting.
That's
Not even the Kardashians can do it.
That's a lot of work. That's a full-time job.
Yo, David, you make up here every day. Oh, wow.
You do it well. You carry it well. And I say to everyone, in the words of Dali Tambo, here's people of the South.
Thank you, David.
A great South African representative. You do an amazing job of showing what we can achieve as a people, as individuals. And we say to you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Waroka, you gave us 2 hours, 33 minutes.
Can I get out of here?
We do this on this show.
Ga.
Take care, ma'am. That's Kelly Khumalo, everybody.
King David Studio Podcast.